How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the Day and Night podcast. I'm your boy, Freshman Feek,
My name is Cody Clayman.
and we welcome y'all back. How y'all doing this week? It's been a lovely week. We want to incorporate something different this week. We wanted to talk about every time we open a new episode, just a life lesson that we learned this week. And I'm gonna let my man Cody go first, man. What about this week have you learned to incorporate in your everyday life?
Well, yeah, good question. I think I've learned to incorporate that to know your worth, know what you're worth. If you work hard, you give everything your all, know your worth. You may know your worth, but you need to let other people know your worth and negotiate that. If one person doesn't want to give you what you're worth, then find somebody else who's going to negotiate and who's going to appreciate you, and don't just stay in that comfort zone. Don't just be like, oh, I'm comfortable here, blah, blah, blah. No, you're young, you need to venture out, you need to do what you want to do, work hard, and don't just feel comfortable.
So what I'm hearing is, that could be applied to relationships. That can also be applied to your career, your friendships. You want to go ahead and know what you bring to the table, but not just stop at that. Once you know what you bring to the table, now it's time to negotiate or leave a situation that you're in.
Correct. Don't just be like, I'm comfortable with it. It could apply to
complacent.
anything. Don't be complacent. Always try and strive to be better and better and better.
I like
How
that.
about, what about you?
This week I've really focused on physical health, which I always do, but on top of that, your mental health is also a big factor in, containing your overall health. I go to the gym a lot, work out, my physical fitness is pretty, on top of my game. But I'm learning this week about meditation, and keeping your mind at peace and at ease. If anybody, suffers from anxiety or anything like that, learning new meditation techniques is really beneficial, and I encourage y'all to do that. I have a couple apps that I'm downloading, like with soothing music. Every night before I go to sleep, about 10-15 minutes, I put on the app. The Calm app is a good one. Aura is another good one. Just focus on keeping your mind at ease. I think that's a good lesson to incorporate in your everyday life.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's funny you mentioned I actually listen to like meditation music before I go to sleep as well.
Right.
So like I'll put it on my speaker, it'll help me go to sleep easier, and it will kind of put me in a different trance.
Okay.
And make me like relaxed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's really important to relieve that stress that you may have from work, relationship, school, whatever you have. That's very important.
100%, man. 100%. Yeah, so if y'all have any other lessons that y'all learned throughout life, it doesn't matter what it is, small, big, let us know, and we'll try to incorporate it in our lives. We'll share with our listeners, you know what I mean, to improve quality of life and understanding for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get it kicked off with
Jump into the news, baby.
Jump in with the news topics.
Yep.
So obviously Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she had died at 87. She
R.I.P. RBG.
So if most people don't know, or if somebody doesn't know who they are, she's a Supreme Court justice. So she basically was focused on women's rights, and she had been a Supreme Court judge for quite a while.
Really long time. Actually, she was the top of her class at Columbia, I believe, when she was graduated top of her class, and this was in the 50s. She couldn't even get a job at the top lawyer firms, even just because she was a woman. There were men that were way less qualified than her that she was working for. You know what I mean? But so she really opened the doors for a lot of women in her position and in other fields to really, again, applying your method of knowing your worth. You know what I mean? Not settling. So she was doing clerical work in the beginning when she graduated at the top of her class, which is crazy. You know what I mean? But when she became Supreme Court justice, you know what I mean? She ruled on a lot of rulings that helped a lot of women out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's important. Equality, making sure everyone's equal. Obviously, there's been a lot of things that have been focused on for equality, and she had played a big role. And Trump now has nominated Amy Barrett, who is supposed to kind of have those same characteristics and same aspects of focusing on women's rights as well. So we'll see kind of how that goes. I know when Obama was president, he had a longer time period to choose that Supreme Court judge.
Between the elections, which a lot of Democrats and a lot of people on TV are bringing up that point right now, and the hypocrisy between the Republican leadership when Obama was, I think the last, I think his name was Scalise. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but the last justice to die before this was his last name was Scalise. Obama had 11 months left until the election of 2016. The Republicans said, that's too close to the election. Why should you be picking the next Supreme Court? Let's wait until 2016 until the next president is brought in, and then we'll vote. That president can go ahead and elect the next Supreme Court. Well, now Trump has 50 days, less than 2 months left until this election, but now the Republicans are trying to push and speed up the process.
It only has about a month or so in
Right,
order to do that.
and speed up the process. So people are pointing out that hypocrisy, and this Supreme Courts are lifetime appointments until you die or retire. That you stay on the bench. So this is why there's so much contention over this, is because once you're on there, they rule on very important issues. Roe versus Wade is what most people are talking about right now, which is about abortion.
Mm-hmm.
So when they cancel abortion, that's going to be big. You know what I mean? When they say on a federal level, you can't, you don't have the right to an abortion, that's a lot of women are going to feel, like that's their choice to make. So that's hectic. Yeah.
No, I hear you out. And I mean, we'll see how the whole government goes about it, because that's going to be a big deal, obviously with the election coming up and mail-in ballots and all of that. So that's going to be kind of a big deal. We'll kind of, follow more into that in depth coming up.
100%.
But I also want to talk about, kind of next topic would be, Gavinewsom. Pretty big deal, actually. Gavinewsom.
What's Newsom talking about these days?
So Newsom actually signed an executive order that would phase out sales of new gas-powered passenger cars by 2035 because of fires. Because of fires and just the pollution in the air and melting icebergs, things of that sort. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Because that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that. That's interesting. I kind of want to say that's good for the environment, for climate change. You know what I mean? Cars and just humans in general have been emitting so much carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. That's global warming is going on. That causes an effect. So I agree with the premise of it. However, I don't know if imposing that will on people. Like, what if somebody who still wants to buy a BMW with a V6 engine or V8 engine, they got to go out of state to buy that? Now the other state is getting taxes. They're collecting on the taxes on those sales from all the people purchasing those cars from California. You know what I mean? So how's that going to affect California's economy long term? You know what I mean?
You're right. I mean, it may be good because they're going to focus on and make more jobs and do more research and focus on things of that sort and market research to get more electric and hybrid and, cars of that. So they're going to have to research more. As per now, they already have the equipment. They already have that. So it may create more jobs. It may, decrease jobs. But I think it's going to increase jobs because there's going to be more people they're going to need in order to do research to get those cars on the road in order to
but what about all the jobs from the dealers that only sell gas vehicles?
I guess they're just going to have to kind of transition to that, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it will definitely help the environment. I know Trump doesn't support it, so.
Of course not.
Yep. So, I mean, we'll see, can this can this be the spark of something bigger that will lead to every other state? Or is this going to be just a California thing where people aren't going to agree with the things that are going on and they're going to move out of California? Because I mean,
a lot of people are already moving out of California.
People are already moving out of California.
Joe Rogan is going to Texas. Well, he's already moved to Texas, bringing his big old podcast, to Texas. A lot of other people are moving up north to Oregon and Seattle. You know what I mean? So how is that going to affect California too? I know for us in general in Los Angeles, traffic, I like more people to move out. Less traffic is always beautiful. But in terms of all the taxes that we're going to be missing out as a state, how is the state going to respond to that? Are they going to raise taxes on us now to make up for to balance the budget of California? So that might have an adverse effect on us living here if California state decides to raise taxes even more on us. Sales taxes, property taxes, whatever the case may be. It's already expensive as hell to live in Los Angeles. Is it going to be more expensive?
Yeah,
You
and
know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
I think honestly, Texas is going to be one of the biggest growing things because their
Growing markets, yeah.
property value right now is like 300,000. I feel like theirs is going to boom within the next couple of years. My cousin just moved out there. A couple other people I know have moved out there. So I feel a lot of people are kind of transitioning to moving to other states. Although California has the best weather, best entertainment, best people, best beat, like
That's facts.
all that stuff. Somebody may even want to settle for something else, whether it be in Texas. Well, they still have beaches, but they may want to go somewhere else because of all these laws, all these taxes, all of these things,
And they're
and
doing it.
and it's expensive to live in California. Like you think about it, like
But I think
it's expensive.
they're moving more because of the personal liberties. I think some state governments, California being one of them, Gavin kind of unilaterally decides, I want to move this direction. Doesn't take, the public opinion into consideration. Like, how do we feel about these certain topics? He just goes ahead and signs his executive order and pushes, something that may affect people in a bad way or a good way, but at least take the temperature of the
And
room
we don't
first,
get that opportunity to
or to say so.
say so to
You know what
say
I
that
mean?
he just signs is done. And so it's almost like diplomat.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
There was another bill I think he signed or he supported. I think yesterday it was in terms of transgender, right? Transgender rights in prison. So I believe the bill, more or less, you can quote me if I'm wrong here, but the bill that he is supporting is allowing individuals, depend based on how they identify, to go to that type of prison. So if you're a male but you identify as a female, if you're going to prison, you're going to be allowed to choose, identify as a woman. So they're going to place you in a woman jail facility or prison facility, that is. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, it all depends on how somebody feels about the whole transgender and gays and things of that sort.
Right.
I don't think it's good, to be honest. I mean, if there's a guy, a criminal who's a male who's been killing all these people, and he's just gonna say, oh yeah, I classify myself as female, and then he goes into the female jails and rapes or kills or overpowers them, like that's a big deal. I mean, because prisons are separated for a purpose.
Yeah.
Males and females,
Yeah.
both because of, just different aspects. I don't think, honestly, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like, I agree with the premise.
I think we need to see
however,
the exact details of like how do you, because it can't just be like somebody's gonna like an inmate's gonna be like, oh yeah, I gender as a female, and then they're just gonna go to the females because there's gonna be too many sexual harassment cases, too many things of that sort going on. So I have to see exactly the details of how it's gonna go on. But I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, so I feel like in terms of how it's going to be implemented, is where the issues may arise. But on a premise level, I agree with it. If somebody truly identifies as a woman and is a man, and dresses the whole part, and they have chemicals imbalances in their body where they truly feel, at birth, that they were, born in the wrong body. How comfortable would they feel going to a male prison when they identify as a woman? You know what I mean? So that person in specific may feel way less comfortable going to a male prison than a female prison. So I agree with the premise 100%. But as you were saying, in terms of executing that and regulating that, that's going to be difficult because what if me, God forbid, I ever go to prison and I'm not, if I'm not comfortable going to an all male prison, what if I just tell them, hey, I identify as a woman? Are they going to allow me to go to to a woman facility just based on what I say? What's the criteria what's the checkpoint? Because what if all males now say they want to go to a female, prison just based on the fact that they say they feel that they're a woman? So I agree with the premise of the bill, but it's going to be interesting to see how you regulate
The details
that.
and the regulation.
Yeah, exactly. How do you facilitate that? Excuse me, and to protect the women, the individuals who were born as women that are in women prisons. How do you protect them now if there's going to be an inflood of quote unquote men who feel like they're women or transgender women? How do you protect them in terms of all type of sexual harassment, attacks, pregnancies? You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's like pregnancies too.
in prison. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But again, I think that one is more understandable than the electric car mandate bill that he signed. because I don't know, you're taking away the choice of the consumer now. Me as a consumer, I like to have options. If I want to buy a gas car, I lean towards electric anyway, because I'm a Tesla fan. I love Tesla cars. My next car is probably going to be a Tesla, so I don't mind
If
it
they made it
personally.
affordable, like if they make it affordable, because I know a lot of hybrids, like I sell cars, and a lot of the hybrids, those are a little bit more expensive.
True.
The cheaper $10,000 cars, those are going to be the
gas
gas powered ones with like no features and things of that sort.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla has a car now that's like $35,000.
I mean, what about the people with that can't even afford that? Like the people that have, $10,000. The Los
buy a
Angeles
used one.
Exactly. Like Los Angeles is basically a city full of wealthy and poor. There's a big gap.
The middle class is
it's kind of fading away.
being erased. Right.
What about those type of people who can't afford, that? So maybe have an income barrier of being like, okay, if you make less than $40,000, it's okay if you get a gas powered, but it has to be low emissions.
Again, though, I feel like that's
more affordable
government
electric.
though. That's too much government dictating on what you can buy. If people want to make bad decisions, let them make bad decisions. You know what I mean? If they want to buy a $70,000 car, but they only make $10,000 a year, that's what America's about, right? America's about freedom to make your own choices. So him saying like you can't buy a gas car in California after 2035, I see where you're going to protect the environment, but I feel like there's better ways without imposing somebody's decision outright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll see how the manufacturers kind of adjust to that. Because that's a big deal. I mean, every car is basically gas. I mean, people are transitioning. To have everybody. I mean, but 15 years is a long time, though.
Yeah.
Like a lot can happen in 15. I mean, if you look at back what has happened in the past decade, a lot has happened in the past decade.
Right.
So who knows what 15 years from now is going to have.
And I feel like we're moving towards that direction anyway in terms of how the market is going to be moving. Because think about 5 years ago, you didn't really see too many Teslas on the road. Now you see, Teslas everywhere you go.
Or people didn't even think, like, okay, you think 40, 50 years when there was horses. They didn't even think about gas.
In the 50s, we had cars in the 50s, my guy.
Or like
50 years ago was actually the 70s. Yeah, we definitely had cars in the 70s.
Okay.
But that's what you're saying, like 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
Up until now.
It was cool to have a gas car, and then they're transitioning that to cool to have an electric car. So it's always trends are constantly changing.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's going to be the new trend? Oh, you have a BMW,
And maybe you have to push these kind of policy changes in order to kind of kickstart the trend. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be a soft, like he's saying, you can't sell any cars that are gas up until 2035, but the again, the regulation of that may not be as strict as we think it's going to be. You know what I mean? But it's gonna push manufacturers to start really investing in the R&D, research and development of electric cars, and in the over 10 to 20 years, a lot more manufacturers are going to have fully electric cars instead of just hybrids.
No, yeah, definitely couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so we'll see how the trend goes.
And also, obviously, COVID. We're still in a COVID era.
Yeah.
The reason I had one of my friends I was talking to him the other day. He does the whole medical research and development and stuff like that, working with COVID right now, and he says that the COVID testing is stuck in phase 3 right now.
For the vaccine, you mean?
For the vaccine.
Okay.
The reason that it's stuck in phase 3 is because in order to pass the last phase, they need to have done the testing on different nationalities, cultures, different people with different medical conditions.
Ethnic backgrounds.
Ethnic backgrounds. So that way they can see the different, side effects of the different medication.
Yeah.
So like they've already had a cure. He was telling me they already have a cure for AIDS and HIV and things of that sort.
Oh, he told you this?
Yeah, they already have a cure, but a lot of these people having back spasms are having, different things that are happening to them.
Wait, and he works for a specific research
and development team. So basically
company, right?
Yeah, exactly, company where he's basically does all this research in order to, so he basically researches to find the different qualifications of the person and their medical history, what they've been through, what they've been doing, and making sure they qualify in order to be a contender or a contestant or somebody to take this vaccine, basically make sure that person qualifies to take it and be put into the study.
Right. So you're saying the holdup for the COVID vaccine is a lot of the people who are volunteering and qualified to volunteer
Are focused towards one nationality. So he
Yeah,
was
so it's
saying
more
that
white people right now that are
exactly.
doing
There's
it.
exactly. So it's like 70% white people, or like 80%. Like there's like no minorities,
Right.
and you need to see, and it's affecting more the minorities, like the Hispanics and the African Americans. So they need to focus on getting those minorities.
Shit. Well, good luck, man. Because a lot of my, I mean,
And
I
why do
can't
you think?
speak to, I can't speak for other nationalities or other ethnic people, but I think black people in America, we've always been skeptical of, you know, the Western medicine or American medicine, so to speak, because throughout American history, black people have been used as guinea pigs, knowingly and unknowingly, for different diseases. The most well known and talked about is the Tuskegee experiments, where the government gave people uh, at Tuskegee syphilis on purpose just to see how the disease would affect them as they were dying, and they had no idea that they were giving them the disease. You know what I mean? But now it's well known, and you know these are just the topics that we know about. So how many other things happen in history where we go for a checkup, and there's a joke that we have in the black community, like black parents and fathers and grandfathers never want to go to the doctor because they go in there getting checked out for their knee sprain, and next thing you know they got AIDS, you know what I mean, or they got cancer, that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really skeptical. So I think that's why you're seeing majority of the test participants are have been white, because they don't have that history with the medical system in America, the same experience as black people do. I'm not sure about.
And now they have a choice rather than before it was more forced upon, to where like you had to.
Or even you go in, like some people think, okay, I'm going in for this COVID testing, but what if they, who knows what they're injecting in my body? That's more or less.
It's a trust factor.
I'm not really an anti-vaxxer, but I sympathize with those people, because I'm not a big fan of flu shots in general. You know what I mean? Like, even when they offer me flu shots, I'm not really a fan of taking
either.
it.
I don't really.
Because I mean,
like
I've
it's
taken
gonna get me sick anyways.
Yeah, I've gotten one, and I've gotten like super sick from the flu from it. So I'm like, what's the difference of me not getting it and then catching the flu regularly, as opposed to me getting sick from this vaccine? So yeah, man, we'll see if they can pass phase 3 of the vaccine. Trump wants it before the election, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting though.
Yeah, I think a majority of the people who will take it will be the people that are most affected. So I think a lot of the people that are affected don't want to be in the study, but they're willing to take it after it's already been in the study.
But also, speaking of that, don't you have to test people who haven't gotten the virus yet to see if the vaccine works?
So
if you give it to somebody
that's
who
right,
already
because
has
you have
it.
to give it to somebody. So you're basically telling somebody, okay, you're affected most, and you're most likely to die from this virus. So let me inject you with it and give you the cure to see how you react. That's a big
No, a
risk.
vaccine is not a cure, though. A vaccine is not a cure to a
it's
virus.
preventative.
It's preventative. So that's why you take a flu shot. So when you come across the flu, you don't catch it, because as soon as it enters your body eliminates it immediately, because it already knows. So I think we're speaking off of limited facts. We don't know how exactly you develop a vaccine, but I would think that the testing needs to be done on individuals who haven't had COVID yet. So then you give them the vaccine and see if that vaccine is successful in preventing them from their body getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to give it to people who haven't had the vaccine yet. So we'll see how many people want to go ahead and
sign up for that.
Right.
I mean, because I know if I'm not even willing to take the vaccine, I'm not going to be in the study.
That's a fact.
That's a lot of people, if they're not willing to get a vaccine, they're not going to be in a study to do it.
Yeah, I might take the antibody test though, just to see, because I already took a COVID test before. I didn't have it at that time. I came back negative. But I want to see if I ever had it, because you know how some people had the virus but didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So I want to see if my body already has the antibodies to it. Like if I already had it, didn't even know about it. You know what I mean? And now it's passed. So yeah. So I'm gonna take the antibody test. Maybe next week or in a couple weeks, just to see if I ever came across the virus.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Next topic. Our biggest thing is sports.
Get into it,
Lakers,
man.
baby.
L gang, Laker gang.
Yeah.
We out here.
The Lakers are advancing to the finals for the first time since 2010.
Since Kobe Code
Since
took us
Kobe Code.
gave us the title, man.
You know?
Yep.
So, LeBron's been in more final appearances than 27 teams. He's been in the finals 10 times.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah. By himself with 3 different franchises now. Did it with Cleveland. He did it with Miami, and now he's doing it with the Lakers. After we get this ring and he's MVP, he's going to be the first player ever in history to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams. They thought Kawhi was going to do this.
That's insane.
The whole year, people were like, Kawhi's about to win Finals and Finals MVP. He's going to be the first player, you know what I mean, to win Finals MVP with 3 different teams. But the whole year, I'm like, come on, bro. Bron's going to do that.
Yeah.
It's going to be LeBron. But yeah, man, how do you feel about the Lakers advancing?
I'm really excited, man. I feel like LeBron is kind of getting Kobe's legacy and kind of taking it on. You know, it's kind of like continuing his legacy where kind of Kobe left off. And, you know, you even see AD, he hit a game winner, and the first thing he said was Kobe.
That's facts.
You know, he wasn't super excited, like, oh, I hit the game winner, I did this. He repped the Mamba.
That's facts.
He hit that game. I mean, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. You know,
facts, man. And
it's
like this year we're doing it for
deal.
Kobe. You know what I mean? This year in 2020 the whole year started falling apart once Kobe passed. So I feel like it's only right that the Lakers bring home that championship in Kobe's honor. I think the game that they're gonna win in the finals, they should wear the Black Mamba jerseys, the all blacked out that he helped design. You know what I mean?
Kobe help design those?
Yeah, those jerseys where he hit the game winner, the black jerseys, Kobe helped design those jerseys. They're called the Mamba jerseys.
Oh, so that's why they always wear them.
That's why they always wear them.
Because I know they always have a 2 with the heart, which is Gigi.
For Gigi's number.
And then, do they have like a 24 somewhere on it? Or
nah,
sometimes
some jerseys they'll have the KB patch on it, but those ones don't. But Kobe helped design those. They just added the 2 for Gigi. But yeah, it's only right, man. Lakers got to bring this home for Kobe this year.
They have an obligation, and I guarantee you, if they don't, they're gonna feel horrible.
Who would you rather play in the finals? Now, in the Eastern Conference, we got Miami Heat. They're up 3-2 right now as the day of this recording. They're up 3-2 against the Boston Celtics. I feel like storyline, it would be a lot better because Lakers and Celtics. It would
be Lakers and Celtics.
Because we have that history.
And there's no better way to literally fulfill Kobe's legacy than go against the Celtics.
That's facts.
You know,
that's facts. So
in the finals.
That'd be
ideal, but I think at the end of the day, it may just be the Heat.
I think Heat, because they're winning. Heat's playing great, and I like that storyline as well too because it's LeBron and he won with the Heat. So now he's going against the Heat to bring another ring. Now the Heat have Jimmy Butler, who's been playing like a dog, man. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Butler has been, working his ass off. Tyler Hero coming up big as a rookie.
Yeah. A lot of people making their names.
Yeah, Tyler Hero scored 37 points in the playoff game 2 games ago, and he broke Dwayne Wade's rookie record in the playoffs, which was 27 points.
Yeah, it's
as
crazy.
A rookie, so
that's
Heat though.
It's definitely going to be a good game, whoever they play, but. I mean, at the end of the day, whether they play the Celtics or the Heat, the Lakers are going to win. I mean, you got AD and LeBron, you got Caruso. I mean, their team is so stacked.
We're built to win.
Like, they're built.
We're built to do it, and I don't think this is the last year that we're going to contend, bro.
I don't think so either because, I mean, a lot of them are fresh. The only way that would hold them back from winning would be an injury. It's the only way to hold back. Yeah. And that's falling back to Golden State. They had a dream team, and there's no way that they would have lost, thinking that they were going to go the next 10 years winning a championship.
But 2 of their players went down. Kevin Durant and Klay.
So anything can happen in the finals.
And even though, like, I'm talking about after this year, even if LeBron, because at some point he's in year 17, bro. This is unheard of him playing this great still. So at some point, age is going to start catching up with him, but I feel like bringing AD on, and granted that he signs again because he's a free agent this year, so hopefully he re-signs with the Lakers. Yeah. So that's going to be.
I feel like their relationship is so good now, and they've really their relationship is very strong right now,
and they're represented by the same management team, Clutch Sports, which is LeBron's guy, but. Yeah, even if LeBron's skill starts to deteriorate a little bit,
AD can take that.
AD now is getting to the point where we're gonna have him be our number 1 player, and we feed AD, and LeBron is gonna be a great number 2. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? To that, so that can even lead us to 2 or 3 more. LeBron might catch Jordan in rings, bro. I'm saying it here first.
Yeah.
He about to get number 4 this year, bro. He can get 2 more.
He
Mark
can.
my words, bro.
He's got the team.
LeBron's gonna be the GOAT.
He's got the mentality.
Because think about it,
know?
stat-wise, he's already going to pass everybody. By the time he's done playing, he's going to have the most points. He's going to have the most, you know what I mean? Top 5 rebounds, top 5 assists, or top 10. Like, he's going to blow everybody out
All
of the
the
water.
numbers are going to be above
In terms of
above
stats.
average.
But I feel like
Stats.
he can catch
But
Jordan on rings, too.
the rings is the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
know?
I agree.
And like
all these haters, bro, when they talk about Jordan and LeBron comparing the rings, like, oh, Jordan is 6-0 in the finals. But
the
like we just
competition
said,
was different back then as
Right,
well. It's a
but-
different game.
yeah, I mean, it was more physical back then too than now. Now that they call fouls on everything. But my point where I was getting at is they always go to 6-0. He's never lost in the finals, right? But Jordan has only been to the finals 6 times. That's why, and he never lost in those finals. LeBron been to the finals. This is the 10th time. So what's better, losing earlier in the finals? Because Jordan played 12 years, right? And he's 6-0 in the finals, which means those other 6 years he didn't even get to the finals. You know what I'm saying? So is it better losing early on? Like, why is that better than going all the way to the finals and losing? Because they always hold LeBron's finals record.
Because then that basically means that you're having stronger competition. So you're losing to the stronger competitor rather than the weaker competitor.
You're losing to the champion. Because sometimes Jordan was losing in the earlier rounds, and that team that he lost to didn't even go on to win the title.
That's a valid point.
A lot of times they did. A lot of times he lost to the Boston, the Detroit Pistons. Those 2 years, they ended up winning the title until Jordan beat them. But a lot of times they would lose. The Celtics would lose to the Lakers in the finals. You know what I mean? So I don't think that 6-0 and 3-7 or 3-6, which is LeBron's record right now. I don't really think that holds too much water, because that just means LeBron is getting to the finish line a lot more than Jordan. He's just not
closing.
He's not closing it. But Jordan got there 6 times, and he won those 6 times, which is great. I agree with that. But you know what I mean?
I think it's an era thing. Jordan was good in his era. It was like his 1990s.
Right.
Then Kobe was good in the 2000s, and then LeBron's being good in the 2010s.
Yeah,
2020s.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a matter of that. Now, a little bit of a trade talk. I think Giannis may go to Golden State, and Giannis may do that. But then again, he may be loyal to his Bucks of how they took him on the team and things of that.
Well, the Bucks have to make a decision, because he has 1 more year. Next year, he's under contract, and then he can make his decision.
Also, next year he has to be.
Yeah.
Bucks?
Yeah. He's still contracted through next year.
But he can't do a contract cancellation. I'm speaking.
No, there's no player option or team option for next year. So he's contracted for next year. But now the Bucks have to make a decision. Do you keep him until the end of the year, and
or
then
do you
now
trade him?
Exactly, because if you keep him until the end of the year, and then he decides to leave after next year, y'all don't get anything in return for that.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you see how the beginning of the year goes, and do you trade him? Like, if you think he's not going to re-sign with you, do you trade him, bring some assets back in, and then start your rebuilding mode?
That would be a smarter decision.
That would be a smarter decision, but it's risky as well, because what if he was trying to stay and then you just traded him away? So
they have to talk with him and be like, "What are you leaning towards?" Things of that sort.
Yeah, but if he's smart and his
he's not going to say anything.
His representation is going to be like, let's just see how this year goes.
Yeah.
Let's go out, try to win the championship this year. But that's going to be a tough one. All teams have to make that decision when their star player is nearing the end of their contract.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of move on to. My outcome, I think the Lakers are going to win. What's your outcome?
Lakers, man. I've been saying it since day one, son.
All right, point blank period.
Lakers in 5.
So
Lakers in 5 each round. Lakers in 5, baby. Lakers in 5.
So let's talk about
put that on my Instagram bio. Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
Israel staying undefeated and fighting and winning.
In the UFC, yeah, last night.
Why was it so easy? Since they're both undefeated.
Both undefeated.
Israel was
a good
19-0 and the other guy was 13-0.
I think so, something like that. Yeah, man. It was paired up to be a great stylistic match, because Paulo Costa, undefeated from Brazil, his style is to really, run and gun. He's like a bulldog, go at your throat, push up, aggressive. But Israel Adesanya, his style is letting the competition come to him, and he's a great counter striker. He's very unorthodox with his stance, he'll fight regular and then southpaw, and you know what I mean, leg kicks. His reach is
The leg kicks really killed him.
tore him up.
Literally, his leg was like purple. Like
Yeah.
I can tell if you take a picture tomorrow about what his leg looks
Oh,
like.
he can't walk today.
No.
He probably can't even walk today.
It was bad. It was bad.
And that's and Israel he's born in Nigeria, raised in, spent most of his childhood and growing up in New Zealand, and that's where he trains. His whole training team is from New Zealand. They're known for like fighting sports in New Zealand, Australia, kickboxing. He started his career as a kickboxer, so their game plan was probably just that. Like Paulo Costa was a lot bigger, but he's shorter than him. Israel had the height reach, so they probably told him, stay on the outside, don't engage too much.
Israel had an 81-inch what is it when you can go up? Not vertical. Reach.
Wingspan.
Reach, like an 81-inch reach.
Yeah.
And Paulo Costa had a 72-inch vertical.
So that's a 9-inch advantage.
And it was one was 5'9", the other, it was like a 3-inch height difference. So there was a big difference in that right there.
Yeah, and that's the game plan that
just shows you your fist can be out way farther than the other person.
And that's the game plan that Israel probably trained for and what he executed, because he was just staying on the outside and kicking them leg kicks. Oh, that's you if you want to be a star, that's how you got to be.
Yeah.
Because I was telling my guys this yesterday. That's how you sell fights. You sell fights. It's the same as Floyd Mayweather.
Mayweather and McGregor.
You want
they
people
hype that up so much.
But you want people to love you, and you also want people to hate you, because those people that hate you are gonna buy the fight to watch you. They want to see you lose.
They want to see you lose.
But either you want to see me win or you want to see me lose. Either way, you're buying a ticket, and they're generating money.
You don't want it to be like, oh, I don't really care who wins. I just want a good fight.
Exactly, because now a lot of people, the interest is not really that. It's not heightened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you want people, especially in combat sports, you need to be hated just as much as you want to be loved.
It's a valid point.
To make the big bucks.
It's a valid point. And I know you had mentioned McGregor. McGregor is actually going to be boxing Pacquiao in the Middle East. And it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Pacquiao is actually going to donate most of his profits to the Philippines.
Is that set in stone?
By the COVID.
Is that like they both signed the contract?
I don't know if they signed it. I know that it's supposed to happen, though.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think it's pretty cool that he's going to give his winnings, his earnings to them. And Pacquiao's record is so good. At this point, he doesn't even really care if he loses because he's making so much money and people love him. He's not about to lose,
though. It's going to be similar.
It's going to be similar to the Mayweather.
Yeah.
McGregor's just doing this for the money, for the money and the fame. Because
boxers make way more money than UFC. You know what I mean?
So that's
in that one fight that he had with Mayweather, I think he made like $100 million off of that fight.
And he lost.
He could have made He needed to take like 20 UFC fights to even amount to close to that much money. And think about all the damage that you take in a UFC fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a great business move. Who cares? He lost. He set his family up for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd lose to Mayweather for $100 million. I'll get knocked out for $100 million. You know what I mean? Run that contract up, Mayweather. I'm with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be as exciting or newsworthy as the Mayweather and McGregor fight.
Because Mayweather was undefeated.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was the first time a UFC person had come to boxing.
That's true. So a lot of that buzz is going to be a little bit lower, but people are still going to tune in.
Yeah,
it's going to generate some money.
It's still going to generate a lot of income.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, I mean, I know we got to kind of deal with the last time it's a little funny. Got to spice it a little bit. What's the topic? Let me know.
Oh, yeah. So, we're talking about this in pre-production. I was talking with a couple of my guys, and I don't know how we led to this conversation, but we were discussing different ways that you can, impress your girl or take a girl out or do nice things for a girl and try to impress her while still being in a budget, So a couple things that, we came up with was this one. The first one I'm gonna say is a little bit more pricey depending on where they're at. But say your girlfriend is out to brunch with their girls, right? This will be a boss move to do. You ask her where she's at. Oh, where y'all having brunch? She tell you the restaurant. You pull up to the restaurant with her girls. You just go there, take care of the bill, and then you just leave. You kiss her on the cheek and be like, all right, I'll see you later. I took care of the beer for you and your girls. And then you just bounce. Tell me that wouldn't be baller, bro.
I mean, that's a pretty boss move.
That's a boss move. You're not even there to join them. You're like, you just can't take care of the bill for y'all ladies. And
then,
then you bounce out.
Hey, actually, that's low-key.
That's fire.
Hey,
Huh?
I may have to do
Think
that.
about the conversation they're gonna be having about you after you leave.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? She's
literally.
gonna be bragging about you to her friends. Her friends gonna be hyping her
Oh,
up.
he takes care of me and this and that. And it's really important that the friends like you, because the
Facts.
friends are the biggest influence. Because, I mean, you think about it. If you have a girl problem or a work
Yeah.
problem, who do you go to? You go to your friends.
That's facts.
This is what happened. So if you're constantly telling them this bad about them,
That's a
they're
fact.
naturally going to come back with bad. But if they witness firsthand you coming up like a boss and saying like, "Hey, don't worry
Covering-
about the bill. I got the bill."
I got the whole bill for them
you know?
too. You know what I mean?
And then if for them too, it'd be
Yeah.
like you care about all of them and their
Exactly.
friends
And investing in their friends is also an investment, really, because say, God forbid, you do end up messing up with your girl, you're in trouble with your girl. When she goes to talk to her friends, if they don't really like you, they're just going to be like, oh, man, fuck him. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
on
You
to
can
the
do
next
better or
one,
whatever.
yeah.
But if they're invested in you already because they know you're a good person and you take the time to learn about their friends, talk to them, and care about what, now they're going to be thinking like, all right,
give him another chance. Give him another chance. Let's go.
So it's really an investment.
He's
you
cool.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm giving y'all some games. So that was one that the fellas came up with. Another one is, say your girl's going to get her nails done, or whatever the case is. You find out what spot she's going to, and you call ahead at the nail spot, and you're like, "Hey, my girl is on the way there. I just want to take care of the bill regardless." Before, so you don't even tell your girl that you're covering the bill. And nails only like $40-$50. So these are methods that we were talking about that.
That's clutch.
You know what I mean? So she
That's
goes
not
in
even
there,
on Google.
and she's going up to pay, and she's like, "Oh no, it's already covered." You know what I mean?
Oh, that's hard.
That's dope.
That's hard.
And these are things like, yeah, it's the dollar amount, $40-$50 or
the
whatever. Instead of
principle.
just giving her money, but these are thoughtful ways that where you're thinking outside of the box. Because
That's
sometimes
smart.
it's not even the value of what the thing that you're covering. It's the approach and the execution
approach and the
of
principle, yeah.
it. Exactly. So
Because you can give someone $1 million and you're like, cool. But you could give them $1 million in experiences of traveling,
That's a fact.
their family and things of that sort, and it's so
Right.
different. So
100%.
it's how you use that money.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are a couple things that are good. We'll think about other ways to ball on a budget. You know what I mean? If you trying to impress somebody. But another thing I was thinking about is incorporating her friends, like for her birthday or something like that. When she's at work, have her like Venmo her friend money or get flowers sent to her, or have her friend pick up flowers and then drop it off for your girl. Like her best friend will bring the flowers to her job and be like, "Hey, these are from Cody. He wanted me to give these to you."
Oh,
You know what I
that's
mean?
clutch.
And that's another way to invest in the friend, because now the friend feels involved in like all the planning and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So-
smart. So don't just be focused on just her. Like, I need just you. Incorporate her friends so that way her friends like you
In the planning
the planning.
of you gifting your girlfriend some things.
Exactly.
You know?
So like
Yeah.
you giving a gift to her friends is almost more effective than giving a gift to her.
Yeah.
Because her friends are gonna hype her up so much, and then she's gonna want to treat you even better.
Oh no, not the. I mean, the flowers won't be for her.
No,
friend.
but I'm saying like
Yeah.
when you have them involved when you have
in the
like
process, like her friend's gonna be the delivery person for the flowers.
the
you know?
friends are just gonna be like, oh, how's it going with him? How's it going with him?
Exactly.
And then when you guys are together, best believe she's gonna take care of you.
You already know.
like
That- yeah.
she may do something the same thing.
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly. It's
And
gonna
then
be
she may
returned.
do the
When
same
a girl
thing with
loves
the
you
homies.
like wholeheartedly, like what I mean, that love is gonna be expressed, full force. So you want to invest. Yeah, you definitely want to invest in the well-being.
Make
of
it a
your girl.
family, because I know sometimes relationships don't work out because the friends don't approve of that person. And for me to be with the girl, it's all about the homie's approval. Like my friend has to be like, hey, she's a good choice,
Right.
for you. You know what I mean?
And even just because a lot of
'Cause you
times
may-
when somebody gets in a relationship,
they may not
they
see things.
Yeah, or they start spending way less time with their friends because they're always with their significant other, and that may cause a rift between their friendships. So you kind of want your girlfriend to still have her girl group and to be focused on her friends just as much as she's focused on you.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And
Yeah.
it's better to incorporate everything. So like if she says like, hey, I'm gonna go out with my friends, be like, okay, well why don't we go out together and I'll bring my friends. So that way
Facts.
you're still with your homies, she's still with her girlfriends, but you're still able to spend time together, and your friends can socialize with their friends, and maybe they can even meet somebody.
Right.
And then her friends are getting into a relationship with your friends, and it all works out in
It's
his
all
favor.
it all
So.
works out. One day y'all can go on a big vacation together to the Caribbean or whatever the case
And you're
is.
still able to be romantic with her, but also satisfy your friends.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people and I've been through friends that literally we were really good friends at that moment.
Right.
But they got into a relationship and suddenly it's like, oh, let's forget about the homies.
Right.
And that's not right. Because
Yeah.
your friends are your support system. They help you make good decisions. They're family. I always say, family isn't just blood. Family is loyalty and people who stick by you.
That's facts.
And with you for your whole life.
That's facts. Yeah.
I have friends that stick by me, and I consider them family.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So yeah, you don't want to forget about.
Obviously, we may have our differences, and it's literally just like a relationship. Honestly, I consider for us example, we may have our differences and stop talking for a while, but then we put that aside, and it's like low key like a little breakup.
Pause.
Pause, no homo. But it's like you come back. It's just like a relationship, and you want to have that good relationship with your friend, because that will. You always want to have a good. Don't burn your bridge, so that way you have 100 ways to get where you need to go.
Yeah, that's 100%. 100%. So yeah, man, invest in your girl, man. She can do dope shit. I'm telling you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Well,
that's great, man. That's great topics, man. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. I mean, also, kind of the last topic. I know, we're all about music and the culture and things of that sort. Tory Lane's actually releasing his album talking about not shooting Meg Thee Stallion.
Yeah, man. A lot of people, the internet was buzzing when he dropped his album, man. And throughout the whole album, he's denying the fact that he shot her, or he's denying the fact of how it actually went down. It's not. He's characterizing it that it didn't go down the way she described it on her live. And a lot of people are just upset that he's even profiting off of the situation. How do you feel about that? Do you think because she went through such a traumatic experience, regardless of how the facts went out, she did suffer an injury, she got shot, whether he did it or whatever the case is, do you think he should be making music and profiting off the situation?
I mean, I think music is a way of saying how you feel about a particular topic. It's a way of expressing your feelings and just what you're talking. Okay, let's say Drake, for instance, when Pusha T told him about, exposed Drake had a baby. How did he respond to it? He responded it into his album. He altered his album a little bit and said, yeah, so he profited off of it, but he expressed how he felt.
So basically, yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
You think Taylor Swift, you think all these different artists are explaining their thoughts, their opinions, what they've been through, what they're going through in their music, in their tones, in their lyrics. So I think it's better actually to say something in music rather than it is in an interview, because you're able to express your feelings with what you do best, is make music.
That's what I was telling my friends. I feel like, yeah, we have to respect Megan, and we do. She went through a traumatic experience, and if she decides to ever address it in her music or whatever the case is, we're going to be there for it. But situations, there's two sides to every story, and because Tory was in that situation as well, he was in the car, whether he did shoot, even if he did outright shoot her, that's a situation that happened in his life. So why shouldn't he talk about a situation that happened in his life that affected him as well? He could be 100% in the wrong, and even if he is, I still feel he has the right to discuss it in his music. You know what I mean? Because now he's going to suffer the consequences, whether he goes to jail. That's a traumatic experience for him. He should talk about his music. He could be dead wrong. You know what I mean? We can cancel him or whatever the case is, but he should still have the right to talk about that in his music, because that's what music is all about. You talk about your experiences, good or bad. You know what I mean? So we'll see where the story goes, but it's crazy, man. The album is, sonically it sounds good, but apparently I'm not even supposed to be listening to this shit. Everybody's telling me to cancel Tory, but everybody had to listen to it at least once to kind of see exactly what he's saying, how he's characterizing the situation. So it'll be interesting, because I think he has a court date coming up in October, and it's based off of, I think he's only charged with illegal possession of a firearm, or possession of an illegal firearm. So I don't think he's even charged with actually shooting her in the foot. So we'll see where it breaks down. But yeah, crazy story, man.
Well, I think we touched on a lot of good topics today. And appreciate tuning in. Like, subscribe,
Comment,
follow,
share,
tell your friends, family,
mama, your daddy.
feedback, all
Tell
that
everybody,
stuff.
man, we appreciate y'all tuning in. And as always, let us know any other topics you want us to discuss. We got y'all, got you covered. I'm your boy, Freshman Feek, once again.
My name is Cody Kleeman.
And this is the Day and Night Podcast, baby.
Boom.
Boom.